Hi guys, welcome to another video, and the topic is the names they give diagnoses, neurology problems today, obviously. Just decided to turn up, didn't it? Yes, I have a theory. Anyone can have a theory, so don't think that this is something because I'm someone special. I want to talk about names of conditions that are either psychosocial or physical, doesn't really matter. And I want to talk about it from my own generation. So let's talk about that. Let me tell you what my generation's diagnosis was of me, the person you know today, with the diagnosis I have today. So, when I was a child, it was hyperactivity, developmental delays, and retardation. In my era, it was not illegal to use the terminology of retardation. It wasn't called a pretty name like autism. Just going to say that. And I'm not the baddie in this. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm telling you over evolution, the names that this has been given and the fact of that is just the real fact of it. I suffered Tourette's as a child. That's called brain damage. It's a prettier name, Tourette's, isn't it? Now, a lot of you are going to be very confused, very frustrated and angry at this type of information, but that would have been put down to my retardation, my Tourette's as a child. Hyperactivity as well, because of all of the physical tics would have been considered in the same cluster as my hyperactivity because of the hyperactivity for 22q. As I don't know if you're aware, the hyperactivity in a 22q child is severe, and I agree. I was there. I was the kid. It was me. Anyway, autism, I used to disagree with being against certain people calling themselves autistic. Or going with the theory of they're neurodivergent, as in neurodifferent. But now I actually agree, because I'm feeling that the overload of people saying they have autism is actually affecting those of us that really do have severe struggle. It's a disability since childhood that we've had that will never go away, that we will always struggle in embarrassing ways that where we are so vulnerable, we are under guardianship. We're not like all the other adults that claim autism and are so low needs, really, or if any needs, really. And I think people need to respect that, because when you're suffering from it as a disability, it is different from just having a neurodifference of, well, I'm sensory overloaded, or I need to process this. My processing disorder is affecting me. It's not enough to say, really, oh, this is a disability that's called autism. It's just not. I think that there is always in life going to be normal and then the disability and somewhere in between. And I think those people fall in between. And I think that it minimizes too. When I look at the speech they used for me as a child with my diagnosis through the school system, medical system, I'm just going to say, like, I think that giving it prettier names has actually harmed a lot of us, especially the autistics who are like me. I was level 3, now I'm level 2. And that, my hard work, gets used against me. So, but if you've not had significant milestone struggles and you say you're autistic, I don't think that's fair. And when you look at the services needed for autistics that do have struggles in childhood, in adolescence, in adulthood, to the point where they're not safe, to the point where they need guardianship, the resources need to go to them. And it's a bit like if you want to know a physical one. So Tourette's is the same thing. There's retardation going on there. Whether we were born with it, now for me, I know that it's genetic. My autism, ADHD, Tourette's is all genetic. It's been told to me that way because I have 22q11.2 deletion syndrome. So I am a genetic autistic. I'm a genetic ADHD. That's where the future of medicine is going anyway. That covers me. The diagnosis was there before because I've had it since I was a child. I didn't acquire it. So basically, think of medical conditions. POTS is just a nice way of saying your heart could just pack it in any day and you could die of a heart attack or stroke or survive it and have some damage, which or whatever. It's just a prettier name, and mine is neurogenic, like Ozzy Osbourne, because mine comes from 22q11.2 deletion syndrome. POTS is never on its own, never. Something in you is causing the POTS. It's not ME/CFS. Something in you is causing ME/CFS. I promise you, I've done the research. In medical science, that's where the research is going. My own cardiologist told me, people don't just have fatigue for no reason. People don't just have POTS for no reason. Or when I found out I got 22q11.2 deletion syndrome and that we die of cardiac in middle age, and that's the average life expectancy, which is pretty much why my illness is considered terminal, that's me. Meaning I could die any day. Let's talk about death and the dying process too. Everyone thinks that people are going to look sickly, that they're going to just die, and you're going to know, because they'll start to wither away and they'll start to, and yes they do, yes we do, like Sir's seen me just the last 6 months. Okay, yes, but you know, you could see me like this talking, and in 2 days I could have a stroke and die. Highly likely, right? The misconception that, oh no, I'm going to be laying in the bed and people are going to be at my bedside for weeks, and then it will become hours, and then it will happen. No. I might just not wake up one morning. The absolute stereotypes of all these things I want to dispel, because the medical science has done us wrong by making it pretty names like Tourette syndrome. The reason why people go, oh my gosh, well, everyone's got Tourette's now. No. You know why that's been thrown at you? This is why I'm telling you this information, is because it's been thrown at you because they've taken away all of the retardation stats, because that doesn't exist anymore, but you come under that because it's a neurological thing. I'm not saying the word retardation. I'm using it in its old way. It's a neurological problem. It's pure and simple. So they've replaced retardation with something neurologically wrong. Your Tourette's is retardation. And because I've taken that term away, that strong term, which shouldn't be abused as a slander term, but if you use it properly, it actually just differentiates between who's really autistic and who's not. If you don't have retardation involved in your autism, are you autistic? I don't think so. I think you're neurodifferent. I think you have struggles with certain things that are similar to autism. ADHD is definitely part of that. So I do think that the fact that we ignore that retardation existed in my generation, that I came under that. The fact that everyone that claims autism but they go to school without a struggle, a silent struggle, Sure, there's a lot of people that have a silent struggle because of differences in them. School is brutal. But there's some of us that have had real big, obvious disabilities. We're told we're retarded at school. That's a bit different to just sitting in class and feeling a little uncomfortable because you feel you're different to everyone else, which you might be different. But it's taking away from the respect that should be shown to people that suffer retardation in the brain that affects their whole learning, affects their whole social thing. They can't speak. They can't even use the bathroom properly at the right age group. That's so different. It's just so different. And when we look at POTS, and we look at any of you that have been diagnosed with POTS and they're not looking for why you've got POTS, even if you don't have the neurogenic POTS, it doesn't matter. The fact is, your heart could do any which thing at any point. It's just like the old days when they say, oh, he's got a bad ticker, he could just die any day. He's got to chill, or she's got to chill, and we just got to let them live their life, because, and the symptoms are brutal too. Anyone who's got POTS knows what I'm talking about. So, and it does get worse. Oh, it does. And it does get dangerous, and it does kill. Let's not forget that. It does kill. And I'm tired of the pretty names, personally. I really am. Maybe they should have kept Asperger's, but maybe given it a different name, because classic autistics really just need the resources. We were the kids that needed the resources. We were the teenagers and the adults that need the resources. When you are someone that needs to be under guardianship, that's different to someone who doesn't need to be under guardianship. Think about it. It's just called respecting someone that's actually having a struggle, not trying to steal it because you need yours to be so validated that you're literally stripping away at someone's severe disability, because actual autism is a severe psychosocial disability, neurodevelopmental disability. Retardation is involved. We are not safe on our own to just socialize out. Fact. And if we do, things happen. Bad things happen. And I just hope people can understand my standpoint on this, because I know that this is radical. But I'm not one for mainstream shit. I'm not. And I'm really starting to get annoyed at studies that are getting affected because they're using people that shouldn't really be in the study. I don't agree. If we're going to study autism, I don't think we should be studying anyone with the high functioning autism. I don't. Because the needs of someone level 2 or 3 is so intense for the parents, let alone for the siblings. My brother suffered so much because he wasn't told what it is and how to manage it, and given support and being patted on the back and given a certificate for being a super sibling. No, he wasn't. It affects the whole family, autism, when it's actually autism. It affects everyone's sleep, their routine, their life, their spare time, their sanity. Everything for those parents is hard because of us. So I really hope it doesn't offend a high functioning autistic, because I am not saying that I don't see you. See your experience, hear your experience, respect your experience. absolutely, I know that we're going to vibe so much more than I am and you are with the neurotypical. I get it. 100% agree with that. But I just want to make sure people realize that actual autism and Tourette's and all these things are neurodevelopmental, which in the old days was called retardation. And it sounds awful because it is awful, and it's still awful. And the reason why you're fighting for awareness is because you're using the soft terms. Not your fault, just your generation's. Not your fault. My generation, retardation. I actually am not offended by that at all, because you know what? It gives me the weight to say, yeah, it's bad. You can't change it. You can't fix it. I can't fake being different. I can't put my mask on, and it screws my life up. I get bullied. I get told off by other adults because I cannot mask. Doesn't work. I try to pretend. Of course, people try to pretend when they're classic autism, but it doesn't mean we succeed, we fail. And it's damn obvious. And people manipulate, use and abuse us and do all sorts of things to us because of it. We can't learn different. We can't learn it. We will never learn those social things. We will never learn them. We will always be what we are. No matter how old our birth dates make us, we will always be what we are now. It's retardation. And I don't think all autism includes retardation, hence the term Asperger's. Hence why I believe maybe give it a different name to Asperger's because of the history of Germany, but to want to sort of say, no, I think that kids like me deserved as much as kids with classic autism, then I want you parents to speak up and say, well, how come me, who had sleepless nights, who had to deal with wet beds for many, many years, who had to deal with the school picking her up because she's wet herself and having to deal with special education and dyslexia and dyscalculia and failing at everything, having absolute meltdown, sensory nightmare stuff, not sleeping till midnight, just with ADHD, that's a regular night, and having huge medical problems and not being able to work it out because I don't communicate, so that responsibility is on the parent as if I'm a baby for years. I was on the hip until 10. Is not the same thing as your family who just had a kid that was feeling a little awkward at school. You have to respect that. There's a difference. There's a difference. One is a difference and a battle, and one is a huge disability. And that family goes through a lot. And so does the autistic, like me. And when you've got POTS, it's the same thing for you. Say to people, it's just like the old days when they used to say, yeah, this person could die any time of a heart attack or stroke because the heart's not good. The heart's fucked, basically. It just depends on a lot of things, on whether you get offered operations, whether you get certain medications on time, or the right medications, or a good cardiologist, or whatever. That's all it is. And Tourette's is another pretty name. Tourette's isn't on the increase. It used to be just under retardation. That's why people are confused. Well, where all these things come from? It's always been there. It was just put under the one thing because it is a neurodevelopmental, neuro problem, neuro thing, which is retardation of the brain. Different terminologies, but the same thing. It's not increased. It's probably not decreased. It's probably just the same. And POTS, there's always a reason. And if you don't have your reason, mine's 22q, we can die of cardiac, that's our death in middle age, without symptoms, like that. There is not going to be a warning. There's not going to be, you're going to see my deterioration. No, it doesn't work like that. One day I just won't be here. I'm sick of the movies and TV and the rubbish that even the medical establishment does, and some of these studies who are now studying people that don't have these conditions of ADHD and autism, that, you know, how some, and you guys must agree who even have it yourself, you know, a few people or more that say they have it and you go, you do not. You don't. And it's insulting to claim you do. And then not getting diagnosed. Come on. In all respect, if you're going to respect the condition, to have a diagnosis is necessary. If you're going to represent the condition is what I mean. If you're going to be an advocate, it's really just not okay just to do it because you think you are. That's just not science. That's just not facts. And we need a world of facts because people are listening because they need to learn, because they might be looking at their child and going, I'm trying to work out if my child has autism or not. And you wouldn't want them to think they have autism if they don't, or vice versa. That's all. I get concerned about many of those things. I don't think you people with, like me, I'm lucky with my Tourette's. I don't feel like it's bad. I mean, it depends on my neurology and what's going on. But, you know, you guys don't get a good deal. Boys, be gentle. You know, like you guys don't get a good deal. People with Tourette's get picked on because you guys have been given a separate name and taken out of retardation as well and been given this pretty name called Tourette's. And look, I love the social model of it. I love it. But in reality, it doesn't work. People hear Tourette's and go, bullshit. If you say retardation, because my neurologist has told me I've got it, now what? Oh. Guys, it's not serving you is all I'm pointing out. That's why. Like, you don't have to change your ways and everyone turns back to the name retardation. And if you're offended, I'm sincerely sorry. But my generation, that's what I was called. That's what I was documented as. So I'm not ashamed of it because it's me. And I just want to make sure that you people don't feel ashamed of yourselves with it either, because you shouldn't. Because it's a disability that needs to be respected and we have rights. And other people don't get to diagnose you, overshadow your diagnosis, who don't know who the hell who you are. They don't even know you. So I know a lot of you suffer this, and that's why I want to have this talk, because if you don't know, it's a bit like me. I remember being at a theatre art school, and I'm studying dance because that was my hyper focus. And I said to my dance teacher at high school, right, why do we have to learn history of dance? Stupid. It's really stupid. She's like, well, if you don't understand where it's come from, how can you show appreciation of why it's here now? And, you know, and it makes sense. You have to know the history of things, guys, because I want you to take away from this is validation. Retardation is actual brain damage, which means it is not in your control. This is not your fault what you're suffering, and you are suffering. I'm using this as a validation to you. And I'm also correcting people who don't have retardation, who don't have massive developmental problems, who claim autism. I'm saying, I'm sorry, I question that now. I have changed my mind because I just think it's getting out of control. And the resources and the information and the facts and studies are not now being represented properly. And it concerns me for my care and other people like me's care going forward. ASD is genetic. I've seen a geneticist only a few years ago, okay? And one of the things written down was ASD. It is genetic. Most people with autism will find out at some point what syndrome they have. Every syndrome's different. Not everything's like 22q, so don't panic. but I'm just saying, it's genetic. I had a neuro counsellor say the same thing, looking at my genetics and saying, you know, even if you didn't have 22q, you would have had autism. And not Asperger's, because that was on a separate, once again, they study that separate in genes, and autism, which is classic autism, is separate. Well, classic autism was on both sides of my family in the red, and the Asperger's was on one side of the family, it was amber. So, my son has more of the Asperger's, which high functioning autism, whatever you want to call it. But he doesn't have the disability I have with autism. He has a neuro difference, he has his own struggles, but he's doing fine in the normal world. And unless I see anything regress or struggle, if you're living like a neurotypical, then I'm sorry, I don't see it. And let me just leave you with this, because some people like to fight. So let me just tell you this. Whatever you are, and wherever you are on the spectrum, is only to be, only you can say that, not me. I can't judge you on where I think you are. Not at all, and I won't, because that's ridiculously unfair, right? So yeah, don't worry. There's no judgment from me. It's just, this is my observation, this is my frustration, this is my concern on the pretty terminology of new age diagnoses to make it pretty and nice. It's going against you is what I'm saying. You deserve better. You deserve it to be spoken about as damn serious as, if you speak to most people on this earth, they do remember the word retardation. If you say to them, I'm retarded, they will know your needs immediately. But unfortunately, we have to have all these awareness days for autism and Tourette's and everything else, because no one gets it. No one even knows what POTS is. It's like, yes, it's that thing where, you know, anyone could die any day from their heart. The cardiologist is giving it a pretty name to make it sound really lovely. It doesn't kill you. It does. And it's caused by something. It doesn't come on its own, guys. So if you've got that diagnosis on its own, that's not all you've got. They're lying to you. Look at the science. Anyway. Even my cardiologist said, you should have some kind of disease or something. I don't understand why you've got arrhythmia and you've got POTS and all the rest of it. She didn't understand. Oh, well, I've got 20Q. You failed. She diagnosed me 20 years ago. So fucked. Anyway. You know, justice always works out eventually. But I hope that this hasn't offended. I know it will. But you don't have to agree with me to be my friend on here. I hope. Because I would like to hope that we can be adults about things, because you don't have to agree with me, because we're all having a different experience on this earth, and we all do have different opinions. And I had a different, if you'd said this to me, I don't know, a little while ago, I would have said bullshit, don't agree. So don't worry. If you don't agree with me, it's all good. We're still friends. I don't mind. But I do want people to reconsider what their diagnosis, pretty name is, and remind themselves that it's more significant than what the pretty name is, okay? I want to validate you there. It's more than just this pretty name they've given it. Look, I'm not saying that having a prettier name isn't good. I like it. But unfortunately, it's not representing as well to the general public. It doesn't represent our needs enough. And for them to be able to be aware of our needs. That's all I'm saying. It's like we're starting again. If we keep changing the name, then we have to keep re-educating society. And society just hates disability. Okay? We all know that. No one has to pretend that that's not happening. It is. So, we all have to be strong, don't we? Anyway, thanks for listening, and please know that that word is being used because that's my diagnosis, and if you're angry about it, then use it to whoever created it, because it was used on me. Don't use it onto me, because that's actually the diagnosis in my early years of my generation. Okay, and I just want to salute people like super siblings like my brother, and the position they get put in, which I personally don't agree, but that's once again in my personal parenting perspective. You could have a different parenting perspective, but that's my personal parenting perspective. Is looking at my brother, I don't like how much he had to give up for me. I really don't. I know my mum was a single mum. I have empathy for that, absolutely, but do not agree with my brother being put in that position. So anyway, yes, I'm just explaining the old terminology to what I call pretty terminology. Anyway, I hope you got something from this, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. It's a little bit philosophical and it's quite blunt, I know, but this is who I am. These are my beliefs, and I believe in free speech, so people can say what they want. People can believe what they want. It's a free world. There's also the thing called freedom. It's all these human rights things that you don't have to ask for. You should just be like, I have it. Okay? You have freedom of what you want to think, how you want to live. So I really, really hope that if you disagree with me, that you can understand that that's okay. That's okay. The internet is really bad at making you black and white. It's really bad at making you think that you have to make a big song and dance because someone's saying something opposing to you. It's a trap. It's a trap. Don't bother with that. If a person doesn't respect that your opinion is different, there's something wrong with them anyway. Just ignore it. Okay, just ignore it. So until the next video, I hope you got something from this, because that's why I do it, because my thoughts aren't always needed to be shared, as you can imagine, but I sometimes like to, because you just never know. Like recently with Autism Butterflies, hey, you appreciated it, and that makes me feel so rewarded, guys, when I hear that from you. That rewards me. That's why I do this. It's because something that I know might just help someone else and change something for them, because I don't want people to be alone in this horrible world that is very judgy. And if you are a vulnerable person like me, we experience it in a very traumatic way. I've had many traumas, but I can't speak about them online because I can't. Unfortunately, vloggers can't be as transparent as we would love to be, because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. It's really hard. It's really damn hard. But anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.